Casual Nerdity is a podcast celebrating and discussing the pop culture that we love. Movies, TVs, comics, books, games, you name it. Our aim is to talk about the good, what worked, and yeah, sometimes what didn't. All with an eye towards building up, not tearing down. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome back to Casual Nerdity, everybody. Hope you are doing well. This is Daryl, and as always, I am joined by
Nick
and Lauren.
And, well, I say as always, but as always for Clone Watch anyway.
Yeah.
And we're back with another episode of Clone Watch, our ongoing experiment in what happens when you take someone who's only seen the original trilogy and slowly expose them to the wider galaxy of the prequels and Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Because, see, Lauren joined our Star Wars RPG heavy gaming group with only the original trilogy under her belt, which meant a lot of, wait, who's that energy? So Nick, being what can only be designed as helpful or deeply unwell, or is it too much to ask for both? Decided to fix that by guiding her through the prequels alongside Clone Wars episodes, because Lauren prefers animation anyway, which somehow makes this...
We both like enjoying animated series.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And somehow that made this seem like a reasonable plan. Now, the twist, we're watching it all in chronological order because Nick hates peace.
Yeah. And that's actually going to be relevant in this episode.
Yep.
It hasn't been for a while.
Right? So today we're catching up on the second batch of episodes that we accidentally skipped. Fortunately,
I'm still not entirely certain how we did that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but someone named Nick was the one that was posting the watch schedule in our group chat at the time.
Well, then that Nick fella is really you'd be forgiven because they're probably a very nice fella.
Probably.
Yep, because he's the one that does math.
Totally.
But we're catching up on those. Fortunately, we only missed these two batches of episodes, and so today we are looking at Corruption Season 3, Episode 5, The Academy Season 3, Episode 6, Assassin Season 3, Episode 7, and Arc Troopers Season 3, Episode 2? Now, we're looking at politics, training days, assassination attempts, and ARC Trooper chaos, aka everything that reminds us clones are not background scenery, they're the heartbreak. And Lauren continues reacting in real time as lifelong fans sit nearby pretending we didn't emotionally recover from these episodes years ago.
Of course.
I mean, no one cares about the clones in a series called the Clone Wars.
Yes, nope, yes. I sure don't. I only care about the Sith. That's who I care about.
I only care about the droids.
Well, this is true. We know this. We've established this multiple times.
This is evident.
So let's get into it. Corruption, Season 3, Episode 5. Padme Amidala uncovers a plot beneath Mandalore's facade.
Ooh.
So Mandalore is officially neutral in the Clone Wars. But because of that, the planet's supplies are running low and it's consumed by greed. They're having to resort to going to the black market to get food and supplies. So Satine calls in Padme for help. As you do.
Yes. And Padme notes that she is not given a conventional Mandalorian welcome, with Satine herself coming to see Padme as she arrives on the planet, indicating that these two are quite close.
Yes. Did they have any dialogue when Satine was on Coruscant?
I don't know.
No, they didn't.
So, okay. Just roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
Roll with it. And notably, too, she does get the expected Mandalorian welcome, which is like a ticker tape parade, which is totally not what you would expect. You've given later Mandalorian information in the lore,
And probably even prior Mandalorian information in the lore.
This is
right?
true.
Somewhere Karen Travis saw that scene and threw a brick at her TV,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Well, that's
and
why she did not contribute to the Star Wars Galactic Guide to Warfare book.
she she threw a brick at her TV and cursed in Mandoa.
A language that they still speak
Nice.
And she's
in canon. It's
yeah, but we've talked about our thoughts on Travis before. We don't want to go back down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, let's keep moving.
Yep, let's keep moving. So a ship of Mugens who aren't well, they are called that later in the episode, slips in unscheduled, and there's a dock master who's bribed to let them unload.
Yes, in particular, it seems that Padme's arrival on the planet removed some of the personnel who would normally be guarding the area, and the person who takes the bribe notes that they're lucky that he was the only one around, with the Mugens noting that it is not, in fact, luck.
Yep. I wonder why that could be. Now let's coincidentally go to the next scene in Satine's audience chamber, where Prime Minister Almec, who we met in the previous Mandalorian arc, is stirring up some shit. So it's a day that ends in Y.
Yes, apparently Mandalore is relying on illegal smuggling in order to get the resources that they need, as their neutrality in the war has caused conventional trade to be rather difficult. Meanwhile, oh, yeah,
No, I was just going to say, yep.
yep. Yeah. Meanwhile, a little bit later, in a more private setting, Padme confides in Satine, saying that she is personally uncertain about the war, although Palpatine is assessing the scenario as very successful. Padme isn't so sure about that.
What? Palpatine thinks that the war is being successful?
Mhm.
Foreshadowing is a literary device.
Incredible.
Yeah. And so the Mugens are diluting tea with a substance that can be toxic if the dosage. And so the Mugens are importing this tea, right? This bottled tea. And they're diluting it with a substance that can be toxic if the dosage isn't exactly right. So it's an incredibly subtle metaphor for drugs, eh?
Oh yeah, totally.
or
So
a
subtle.
metaphor for just cutting costs and trying to deregulate things.
I mean, maybe I am. My perception of it is being colored a little bit by just a couple of weeks ago having watched the series finale of Euphoria, which fentanyl and cutting other drugs with fentanyl
Mhm.
and all of that was a heavy plot element.
Oh no! If
Uh,
if a Mandalorian touched even a single microbe of fentanyl, they would instantly explode. It's their one
no, it
weakness.
would supercharge. It would supercharge Mandalorians, at
Yeah,
least if they were Karen Travis Mandalorians.
Oh, okay.
Be-
So
because
so
they'd,
so
they'd
the
be
Mandalorians aren't the police.
they'd be
in this essence.
incredibly I don't think to describe how he feels about the Mandalorians on this show.
So no, we can. So I think we've mentioned this before. You know all of the Chuck Norris memes
Yeah.
out there in the world about
Mm-hmm.
how badass and tough and invincible Chuck
Mm-hmm.
Norris is.
Yeah.
Okay, replace the words Chuck Norris with Mandalorian,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how Karen Travis wrote Mandalorians.
I see. I
Maybe
see.
add in a time
Unironically,
Mm-hmm. Right.
without any irony.
totally unironically. But coincidentally, we then see that there's a bunch of school kids who are sick. It's a total coincidence.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
and there are similar reports from schools across the planet.
Oh no.
Oh no!
And it our last episode was the Mandalorian and Grogu, and it's really wild seeing this depiction of Mandalorian society as contrasted with what we saw on the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Lauren, I have to remind you, the Mandalorian is the big one, and the green one is Grogu.
Oh. Okay. I thought the one with the hat was
Wait,
Grogu.
wait, the Mandalorian is the big one, so the
Mhm.
Mandalorian is the hut that was in the arena.
No. Even bigger. The giant robot, the one on the left.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the big one. In any case, we have a scene where both Padme and Satine are trying to find this mysterious tea, and one of the school directors, I think he was,
Yes.
ends up opening up the location where the tea would be, but being guilty of a number of things, he tries to escape on a speeder of some sort, and results in the most tame Star Wars crash in the entire series.
This is true. Like
So
he was not. They weren't violently thrown across like half a yard. They didn't explode. No one else exploded.
Just
wait, so
two.
so you're saying that this school director gave up information? You're saying that he spilled the tea?
Oh
I'll see
no!
myself out.
Oh,
I'll see myself out.
That was beautiful.
get out of here!
So the superintendent of the school is the one who had the tea smuggled in, and Satine's like, he says that it was to cut costs, and Satine is like, the schools are perfectly funded. You are not underfunded. Well, yeah, but if I got it cheaper, then I could pocket some of the money.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we did mention greed at the top of the episode.
Yep.
That's a crime.
As a result, Padme and Satine do some stealth as they look into the docks, and it reminds me of Paper Peach stealth sections from the first two Paper Mario games, primarily. She's
I
doing
played.
stealth in
Oh,
all sorts
I
of
played one
places.
of those.
It's
I
princess
think it was the
stealth.
first one.
The first one
Yep,
was for the N64.
Well,
they're on their way.
technically it's Duchess and Senator stuff, but
Eh,
yes.
Princess. It's whatever.
So they're on their way to covertly check out a shipment coming in, and Satine and Padme bond over being the types to take matters into their own hands. Remember, kids, Satine is allegedly a pacifist.
Yeah.
Now, with some help from Padme, Mandalorian security stops the smugglers, and Satine orders the warehouse burned to the ground. Okay.
Yay! Fire! I love it. I love incinerating things. It's
I mean,
beautiful.
you can take you can put the pacifist into a Mandalorian, but you can't take the instincts to destroy everything in your sight from the Mandalorian.
Finally, a
Including the
Mandalorian.
evidence.
Finally, a Mandalorian does something worthwhile on screen. But notably, during the battle, the Mandalorian guards were using like physical shields to block blaster bolts, and for some reason that feels off to me.
Well, you see, Lauren,
Mm-hmm.
the shields were most likely made of a material called Beskar, which is a highly blaster and energy resistant metal that is unique to Mandalore and their claim to fame.
Actually, it's likely it's a Beskar alloy, as they weren't using pure Beskar time period.
Yeah, but still, the point stands. The
The
point
point
stands.
also
And
stands
Nick,
that the point also stands that it still feels off.
and Nick, if you're going to actually, you need to use the actually voice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Let me get actually.
Nick, that's your normal voice.
Oh, he's just doing that voice all the time then.
So he actuallys us all the time.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what that means.
Wait, it's too early to bully me. We're barely in one episode.
Ah, yes, you're right.
What do you
Well,
mean
we'll save
barely?
it
We're
for later.
almost at the end of this episode.
Yes.
So, Satine suggests that maybe they should send a Jedi undercover into the governmental academy to root out the corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Now, although they were, I do have kind of a behind the scenes question here, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think any of us know this answer. Even Mr. Actually
I
himself over
definitely
there.
don't.
But although they were made years apart, 11 years if you're counting, I wonder if this episode was written under the auspices of the same government program that got us the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode Beer Bad. And I know that reference probably means absolutely nothing to you, Lauren.
It does not. No.
So
I get
let
it.
me explain. Let me explain. So in Buffy's season 4, there was a government program that if TV shows, especially ones that had young skewing audiences, produced episodes that uh, depicted drugs and alcohol use in a negative light, that they could qualify for government funding for that episode. Basically they get a little government subsidy. So the producers of Buffy the Vampire Slayer instructed the writers' room to participate so that they could get some extra cash into it. So they wrote an episode that is titled Beer Bad, in which the beer at this bar on campus, because all of the characters it was their freshman year of college
Uh-huh.
on the show. Now, being freshmen, they were still drinking underage, but never you mind that. It still falls under the auspices of the program because it's underage drinking. We
Mm-hmm.
want to show that this is bad, right? So they wrote the episode, this beer is causing everyone who drinks it to basically devolve into cavemen and devolve into Neanderthals, and violence is breaking out. And Buffy is one of the ones who drinks, and because she has gotten a new boyfriend, she slept with the new boyfriend, and he ghosted her immediately, and just horrible things. So she starts drinking to drown her sorrows, and turns into Cave Buffy for the episode. And they submitted it for review to be compensated by this government program. And they came back and said, well, see, the negative effects of the alcohol were because there was a supernatural element to it, not because it was just alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get the money.
Oh.
So they didn't get the money, but they're like, well, we already spent the writing resources to write the script, so we're still filming it. And to this day, it is considered one of the absolute worst episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer because it is very ham-fisted and preachy.
I see.
It is like the fists are made of ham in terms of ham-fisted.
Notably,
so-
whenever it comes to this episode, it doesn't really feel like the chemical is a drug at all, really. Like
That's
the-
honestly my opinion. It doesn't feel. It feels like it's just a byproduct of the fact that they're of a wartime condition of like just try. It's just it's like a byproduct.
because like this chemical, it isn't something that you take on its own. It's something that the tea
Yeah,
producers put into the tea in order to dilute it so that they can make more tea without spending more materials
to
on
sell
it.
to a society that requires the tea, but it's like they aren't trying to like hook anyone on the tea. In fact,
Yeah,
that's fair.
They would refer
That's
to
fair. I think
honestly.
I was.
It's a product of it's a representation of irresponsible production not
and war
a
and
representation of drug
and
usage.
wartime scarcity, rather than
Mhm.
in Melissa's attempt to like hook people on the tea. Again, the tea is actively causing illness and potential death.
Yeah,
Like
the tea isn't ever displayed as addictive or inherently causing any sort of drunkenness or altered state of mind. It's
the
just
draw of the
deadly.
tea is that like the draw of the tea is like, well, people drink tea.
It is fundamentally regular tea. It's basically like whenever it's whenever people cut like the the standards for production. Whenever people lower the standards for production, and as a result, products become more deadly because they're not being checked on properly and such.
And taking advantage of a public that is currently experiencing a shortage.
Yeah. So I
No,
don't know if
that's fair.
yeah, drugs don't really translate to this episode very well.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I was probably still too much in metaphor brain
Mhm.
from earlier when that question popped into my head.
Yeah, I mean it is a metaphor, just for something else.
Yeah, just different metaphor.
And that's the end of that episode. And that takes us into the Academy Season 3, Episode 6. Ahsoka Tano is assigned to teach a class on Mandalore.
Oh boy.
It it it,
So,
it's a girl.
Mm-hmm.
so Ahsoka is being sent to teach at the Royal Academy of Government on Mandalore.
Yes, yes, it is a special mission from the Jedi Council to expose children to new ideas.
Or at least ostensibly, that's why she's there. I mean, Satine.
Propaganda.
Yep. And Anakin brings her and immediately leaves because Satine and Almec meet Anakin and Ahsoka, and they're like, "Oh, the two of you are here. That's great." And Anakin's like, "Yeah, I got to dip. I got to dip. I got real work to do."
Mm-hmm.
I got main character things. I got to brood. I got to commit a war crime or two.
Oh, of course, it's Anakin. He's always doing that.
And so,
I got to disappoint Obi-Wan at least 3 times.
and then we have a little bit of quippiness and Ahsoka being introduced to some of her students.
Cadet Corky, Amos, Lagos, these are some of the cadets that you will be instructing, Padawan Tano.
Nice to meet all of you.
That's a fine weapon. May I see it?
I'm afraid not. Because of Master Kenobi's recent visit and the trouble that followed, no off-worlders may carry weapons on Mandalore.
Master Obi-Wan caused trouble? That's a first.
Just give me the lightsaber.
Yeah, we get that quippiness. We get
you,
our
you skipped
introduction.
over the best quip. You skipped over the best quip where as Anakin is leaving, he says something like, "Hey, if you do right, you'll have a chance to prove me wrong," or something like that.
I don't even remember hearing that one. So
It was like
Remember that one,
immediately after
yeah.
that quote ended.
It was kind of what I based my old like call out to you guys when we leave my house. Like, if you do anything crazy, name it after me.
yeah, like I keep telling you, Nick, when we commit any crime, we always leave your name behind. We go to pin it on you. And but there's that quippiness. We get introduced to Corky, who
Yep.
we discussed Corky at greater length after we skipped over this episode
Yep.
in the Mandalorian arc with
But we
with
were remiss
Obi-Wan and Maul.
to not discuss the fact that there is popular theory that is theory confirmed that Betsy has strong feelings about the character of Corky.
Yes, I have a quote from her that I am to give on her behalf that we have later on down the line in the notes here.
Good. Otherwise, we'll be punished.
Yep, and then back to back clips though. After that little quippiness and kind of lighthearted, I'm just going to leave this next one right here.
Corruption is what happens when someone in power puts their own personal gain before the interests of the people they represent.
So, it's a result of greed?
Yes. A leader sacrifices moral integrity for the sake of money or power. Entire star systems have collapsed into chaos, a revolution because their greedy politicians got caught up in a cycle of bribery and blackmail while their people suffered.
Does that mean most government officials are corrupt?
Well, no. But the point is that temptation is always there, and citizens must be vigilant so corruption can't take root. The deadliest enemies of a society dwell within its borders, and from these internal threats, the people need to be protected.
But if you don't trust your leaders, isn't that treason?
It's every citizen's duty to challenge their leaders, to keep them honest, and hold them accountable if they're not.
How do you do that?
By exposing corrupt officials for what they are. Lasting change can only come from within.
Foreshadowing is a literary device.
Foreshadowing, that I just included that clip for absolutely no reason. There's absolutely no relevance to the real world, past or present. There is Star Wars has never ever been political.
There's no themes.
There's nothing very obvious going on in the current day that we could draw any parallel to. Honestly, I can't draw. I'm drawing
themes
a blank.
and concepts
Yeah,
don't exist.
we can go about our business. Move along.
You don't have to think about anything ever.
No, I don't know. It's just I'm
it's all just meaningless flashing lights.
It's unlike that very overly political Star Trek. Good thing we're not talking about that.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean,
we might be someday.
Yep, we might be. I would not be opposed.
Foreshadowing is a literary device.
What, you're gonna expose me to you're gonna expose me to both Star Wars and Star Trek, and I'm gonna end up doing a Trekkie, I guess, or something, maybe.
I really do. Okay, sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
As I think that we have kind of agreed from what you have been vibing with in Clone Wars, and from just 3-4 sessions of playing the Star Trek RPG in our group, I think you would probably agree that Star Trek is a little more your vibe than Star Wars.
Yeah, probably. This seems highly likely.
Now, completely unrelated to anything in that clip of Ahsoka that is purely irrelevant, and I just pulled it for zero reason. While I was watching it, I was sitting there looking at Corky in the scenes, and I was trying to figure out who Corky has always reminded me of, and then it finally suddenly hit me. Conan O'Brien. It's Conan O'Brien.
Well, okay.
Wait a second.
Do you need to pull up a picture of Conan O'Brien and look?
Yeah. You're not right. You're not wrong.
You're never going to be able to unsee that now. You're welcome. So the students.
Damn. it's there. It's heckin' there.
So the students that night, they're studying, they're working on their assignment that Ahsoka gave them, and they go looking for food because they're hungry, but food is allegedly scarce. So they break into this warehouse and they spy on smugglers meeting with unmarked Mandalorian police and a mysterious cloaked figure. And there's plenty of food hidden in this port. By all appearances, there's no food shortage. Now they get spotted, they manage to get away, and Corky suggests speaking to his Aunt Satine. What?
Whoa.
Okay, so we knew already. We knew this already because we accidentally skipped these episodes and we saw Corky in the Maul and Death Watch arc. But still, I included that in there because what?
It was crazy, but also it doesn't answer the questions when we actually find out that everything else about Satine is like it still doesn't add up.
Right. So they go to Satine, who tells them that she'll take care of it, but they feel like she kind of brushed them off because she wouldn't let them actively participate. Yes, I won't let school children actively participate in a government investigation. So unreasonable. She's being so unreasonable.
Who do you think you are, Spider-Man?
Spider-Man or the Scooby Gang or
Danny
whoever. Yeah.
Whoa, the
Or Kim
Scooby Gang. He
Possible?
does the Scooby Gang and Kim Possible actually are just semi-respected individuals.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, who do you think you are, Kim Possible?
So, since they feel like they got kind of brushed off, they call Almec, who he agrees to meet them. He's taking them seriously, and he tells them to bring their recording and all of the cadets who know about it, which is not suspicious at all. Not at all.
No, totally. That's normal.
Nothing to see here. Move along. Move along.
He's a trusted advisor to Satine. Obviously, he's a good guy.
Now, before meeting with Almec, they're back in class and they tell Ahsoka about it too. So here's this government cover up, right? They tell the Duchess, they tell the leader of Mandalore, who they fortunately have an in with, because she is one of their aunts. And and then they tell the prime minister, who he's known since childhood, because that's his aunt advisor. And then they tell this random teenage Jedi that they met yesterday. But she tells them to be careful, to take stock of everyone before jumping in. And Ahsoka, have you learned nothing from Anakin? You always leap before you look. Always.
Totally.
She's sounding more like Obi-Wan in this case.
Right?
I mean, keep in mind, the last time Obi-Wan was here, he caused so many problems, so she's probably like, in this context, acting like Obi-Wan is optimal.
Well, she doesn't know this yet. Don't read ahead on the clips.
Well, no, she heard about the fact that Obi-Wan was caused trouble last time. Anakin told her.
The specter of Obi-Wan is hanging over this for a great deal. Not that we're trying to draw any attention to that.
I wonder why. Does Ewan McGregor look like much like... I don't think Ewan McGregor looks much like Conan O'Brien. Anyway, the kids head to their meeting where the police arrest them for treason. And it's the same guards from the night before. So Ahsoka intervenes and saves them. And lets them know that Almec set them up.
Ahsoka says ACAB.
And I mean, is she wrong?
No, she's got it.
Although the Jedi are cops.
Well, good thing she's not a Jedi anymore.
Yeah, she is.
Spoilers.
Not by the point that we've seen in the show.
This is true.
Right, but at this point in time in the show, yeah, she is.
She's a Jedi.
She figures it out eventually.
So the kids show Ahsoka the hologram of the cloaked figure, and she uses a device to de-shadow the face and identify Almec as the shadowy figure.
This has never been done in Star Wars. Period.
Never. I totally forgot that they introduced holographic zoom and enhance here. And Nick, I'm going to use this in game at some point.
This is zoom and remove your concealing cloak.
No, Nick, it's zoom and enhance. It's Blade Runner style zoom and enhance, where he zooms and enhances in a mirror and is able to see around a corner of the reflection in the mirror.
I just like...
Now, Lauren, I know that you probably have not seen Blade Runner because live action.
I know about zoom and enhance.
But yeah,
and I know about that
I was going to say specifically that zoom and enhance.
Yes, I know that one.
That is...
I was going to say, it's a great movie. It's a wonderful movie. That's a ridiculous zoom and enhance trope.
Oh, man. It is the reason why it is like the zoom and enhance trope is named for it, even though every other thing did come after that. It is even more ridiculous than the original version, but it's like it's that ridiculous that every other iteration is even more ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So they head back to Satine, but her guards are dead and she's missing.
Uh-oh. And so they continue to work with Ahsoka, but oh no, Ahsoka betrays them.
Ahsoka turns the kids over to Almec, and they're hauled off to prison cells. And as they're hauled off,
They are children.
she says that they implicated Sabine as their leader. And Almec is like, "Oh, she's already in custody. Don't worry about that." And
You said
once
Sabine, not Satine.
Oh, Satine. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. I'm jumping ahead to Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Satine, she implicated Satine as their leader. Almec's like, no, don't worry about it. She's already in custody. And once he's gone, she goes in to question the kids. And what do you know? It's all a ruse.
Mm-hmm.
And Ahsoka mind tricks a guard to take her to where Satine is, but I still don't have a clip pulled for this, but it's a trap.
Yes, the guards actually resist the mind trick. They've been trained to do so.
Le gasp.
Without
But
her
that does
lightsaber.
make sense, as Mandalorians have been trained and for years have known the tricks of the Jedi.
Yep. And without her lightsaber, they do end up restraining her. At which point, they start to torture Satine with a shock collar to get her to confess to, working against the interests of Mandalore. After that doesn't work, they decide to start torturing the children.
Lovely.
But fortunately, Ahsoka starts kicking butt, frees herself from her restraints, and invents a brand new force choke by putting the shock collar onto Almec instead.
Yes. And
she's learned from Anakin so much on how to commit a war crime.
With the look that Satine gives Corky when Almec is about to put the shock collar on him, this is as good a time as any to deliver a message from Betsy since she couldn't be here. She said, and I quote, "Do me a favor and remind the good people who Corky's parents definitely are, and fuck whatever Filoni and Pablo have to say, because, like, come on." Yeah, I mean, there's
it's obvious who the parents of Corky are. It's obviously Prime Minister Almec and Bo-Katan.
her Corky's father is Conan O'Brien.
Yes,
he's Space Conan O'Brien,
created through the manipulation of the midichlorians.
Corky doesn't have a father, but he does have a second mother in Padme.
Now, I know that we discussed it in length in the later episode.
We're doing this in jest. We're saying this after the fact so that Betsy does not kick all of our butts.
No, we discussed this at length in the later episode, and that later episode is actually what prompted me to realize that we had skipped some of these, because when Corky showed up in those, I was like, wait, they're not introducing Corky. I know that there was wait a second, and went back and looked at the episodes that we had covered and all of the episodes in the show, and I was like, hey, we missed some.
It all wraps back around. It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, I think there's a clip.
Like poetry, so if they rhyme.
And so then we get the closing of the episode. Anakin comes to pick up Ahsoka, and they have a little talk.
I hope this assignment wasn't too boring for you.
It had its moments.
Huh. Like the one where you convinced untrained children to help you overthrow a corrupt government?
That was a highlight.
It sounds pretty risky. You're lucky you didn't get hurt.
Nothing you wouldn't have done.
And she's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been even more chaotic had Anakin been there.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Oh, they be probably much more death and destruction and
Almec
pathos.
would be dead.
Anakin would
Almec
actually
would.
have Anakin would have actually had his lightsaber because R2 would have been holding on to it the entire time.
Yep.
Oh, if R2 was there, then I don't know if there will be a Mandalore after that.
In
But
any case, so yeah, I have some thoughts about this particular
Lauren
episode.
has some thoughts, so
Uh,
take the floor.
Yeah, so this episode really plays into some elements that I'm not a fan of. I've previously noted that a lot of episodes with Ahsoka in them don't actually focus on her, that she isn't the one who has a character arc. She's simply there to facilitate other characters' arcs. Back when I originally watched this episode, it was the first one that I really noticed this with. In particular, because it also plays into a narrative element that just generally irks me, the sidelining of non human characters. It's rather common for series that have aliens, furries, robots, or otherwise non human entities to then have a token human or two that proceed to take emphasis away from the more fantastical individuals that make the given franchise more unique. And I'm not going to say that this is like always a bad thing. Tropes are tools after all. But on the whole, when it happens, I'm more often than not dissatisfied and disappointed. When I first watched this episode, I was really excited to finally have a story dedicated to Ahsoka, excited to see what she'd learn and do on Mandalore. Then the focus shifted to some human kids, and I really felt the excitement just get knocked out of me. Ahsoka, of course, does play a role in the narrative, but it isn't really about her. It's about the kids. And I know this is really complaining more about what the episode isn't rather than what the episode is, and that this is really a complaint that stems more from broader media trends rather than a Star Wars specific issue. But these elements really came together to sour my taste for the episode the first time around, and a rewatch didn't really help with that. Fortunately,
And
while I may have issues with the way Ahsoka tends to get used in general, the next episode is an exception to that trend, and very much helps make up for my disappointment with this one.
and I will also agree with you. Like there has been a lot of in the fandom that says like, yes, there are some of the strongest Star Wars stories in media. As one of them has been uh the 2 seasons of Andor, some of the best critically acclaimed Star Wars stories currently in the franchise. But they are human focused characters. When you this is truly a story, a franchise made around the fantastic, the unique, and the unwillingness to create a main story, a main public story on any of the franchise of the major sort of medias of television, animation, and film to be fully like from a perspective of one of the amazing creatures and aliens that populate the Star Wars universe, who are full functioning beings just as any human, is something that has been discussed multiple times. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
unusual, and though it makes sense from a great many perspectives, that it's like yes, you want to draw your audience in by what is knowledgeable and known, and it's far easier to do that with a human expression, and even from like production value points, like it's easier to have just a person instead of having to build around like a either a CGI puppet or a fully make up individual. But it does. There are many that share your same feelings, and honestly, that was one of the big reasons why like Ahsoka is the Ahsoka series. When we eventually get to it, is such a big hit. It is entirely about a character who is an alien, but even then, it's still also one that had to take years to get built up to be allowed that instead of like just letting a Star Wars alien be a character.
And I will also
I
note.
didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
going to say the Ahsoka series is about an alien. I mean, I guess Sabine as a Mandalorian is technically an alien. I guess Ezra from Lothal is technically an alien. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, another factor that I didn't technically mention in this rant, but there is also another element of the sidelining of Ahsoka that is a bit irksome in this episode. In that, not only is Ahsoka an alien character who's getting less focus than some human characters, but she's also a female character who is kind of being upstaged in the episode by it is a quartet of humans, and there are two males and two females, but like Corky's the main guy. It's they're upstaging their main female character with some other male character. So that is also a factor that is less like the alien thing is very much a personal agitation, whereas the female thing like a much greater social problem.
That's a great. But I say like the alien thing has been like a discussion point in a great deal of going back even in the legends. People were like, "Can we have like a Chewbacca novel or something like? Give us a the most perspective we usually get from the Star Wars aliens are from anthology stories."
And to be fair, when they have on a few occasions done Chewbacca comics, it's his name on the cover in the title, and he's generally a sidekick in those.
Oh, of course.
Even on ones where it's like
because they continue, understandably, because this is an aspect of the character as he was created in 1977. His dialogue is not translated for the reader.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, he ends up being a secondary character in his own comics, one-shots, and miniseries, as there is another character, human or humanoid, that he bounces off of, who is the reader's point of view character.
Yeah.
I was about to say like, but what if I realized like the only other time that Wookiees had the main focus of a story was the holiday special.
Incredible.
And there's a reason in the Legends continuity that when they started the new Jedi Order storyline, the publisher was very adamant that they wanted to kill off one of the existing main characters in the first book.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to Lucas with a list of names. And Lucas picked the name, and the name selected was Chewbacca.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the various writers of New Jedi Order did kind of say, yeah, it was kind of a relief because it's hard to write for him.
Mm.
It's hard to write for him because you can't translate him.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to write that he growls and does something, and then someone has to translate for him to another character.
Or contextually understand what he means.
Yeah.
Or comedically not know what he means. It's like there's like that's the three ways to write it.
And if you want to talk about women as characters in a Star Wars being spotlighted and then having the bad faith portion of the audience descend upon them,
we haven't.
We should watch The Acolyte at some point.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if because I know that Ahsoka was very much hated whenever she was introduced.
Oh,
but people came to like her more over time. I'm wondering if this is the reason why, because they just didn't focus on her very much.
Yeah,
because she's a supporting character, even in most of her own episodes.
Going back to season 3. Before season 3, I told you was when Clone Wars got good.
Mm-hmm.
And it was specifically at the second half. The first half was like fixing up a lot of the plot holes and a lot of the misconceptions and like filling in stuff. But it was also was when people were starting to see more Ahsoka, and Ahsoka was getting more play. And
But
then
like
afterwards,
the problem
we
the
got
problem
into
that I
the
have here
best
though
Ahsoka.
the problem that I have with Ahsoka getting overshadowed by other characters, even in what are presumably her own episodes, this isn't a problem that is exclusive to a single season. It is a
Right.
problem that has been consistent throughout the series up until like the last episode, the end of season 5 that we've watched. It's she does have some of her own episodes legitimately where she is legitimately the focus character, but a lot of the time she just isn't.
Or
She's
she's part of an ensemble, but she does definitely get the most post episodes like this. She gets a much more lion's share of character development, even in the ensemble or larger cast episodes.
Yep, and it didn't hurt that they stopped writing her like a precocious 10-year-old, which is
Again,
where a lot of the everyone's first exposure to her was the movie, the Clone Wars movie.
which I'll admit was not for her
And
character was not a great introduction.
it wasn't a great introduction. People carried that over into the series, and they had to, as writers and producers and directors and voice actress Ashley Eckstein, they had to fight to win the audience over after that first impression.
And also adding the fact that the first 2.5 seasons are a mess in terms of like trying to determine her story. Because again, the continuity is all over the place. It's like we're jumping back forth, like we're trying to find a through line.
Yep.
The character seems all over the place because the story is all over the place.
So like it feels like y'all aren't really getting what I'm getting at, because y'all keep talking about how these things have changed and how the order is in effect, but it doesn't really seem that way to me. The core complaint that I have about her being a supporting character in her own episodes
No,
isn't
I totally
something that changes. It's
I
not
totally
something that
get
gets better.
I totally get where you're coming from, and
Mhm.
I can agree with it. What I think Nick is trying to get at, and I know what I'm trying to get at, is it's not so much that she the writing for her was better,
Mhm.
but it was still not ideal,
Yeah.
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Because
It's
I
still
think it's just us coming at it from a perspective that we watched it as it happened, have had perspective going back on it.
Mhm.
And it's like we can justify a lot of the issues because it does work out, but I think that we did feel the same way when we were watching it, the same as you.
But yeah, admittedly, I don't really agree on the point that she started out really bad, because as we've noted in the first episodes, I've been into Ahsoka from the very first, even from the movie. I liked her there, so it's not really a complaint that I personally resonate with. Any time that Ahsoka actually does get the spotlight, I have enjoyed it. It has been great. Even in the moments where she is a supporting character, she is still a good supporting character. I just want to see more of her actual story.
and
And
I would say that the reaction of finding her, to oversimplify, annoying at first comes from a widespread application, even among those of us who generally are a little more self-aware and media savvy than this. But we went into the Clone Wars movie expecting one thing
Mhm.
and got another.
Mm.
We went into the Clone Wars movie expecting another Star Wars movie that just happens to be animated, rather than a Star Wars movie that was even more overtly than usual directed at a young audience.
Mhm. I see.
We walked into it, and we were unable, unwilling, or just plain didn't at the time meet that movie where it was.
Especially coming off of the last film that was in theaters was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, it wasn't met, by and large, it was not met where it was. It was met where people expected it to
Were
be. And Ahsoka at the beginning of the series was pretty emblematic of the target audience for Clone Wars. And I've
honestly,
made the same
honestly,
I've
I
made this
think
same
that
comparison when you haven't watched it yet, and we may or may not ever get there. Who knows? But in between episodes 8 and 9, they did Star Wars Resistance,
Mm-hmm.
and it
which is
got
it.
some similar lackluster reaction. And but I I didn't have that reaction to it because by that time I was able and willing to meet it where it was. And to this
With
day,
the
when people
intention.
online have who haven't watched it ask, "Hey, I haven't watched Resistance. Is it any good? Am I going to like it?" And my response is Resistance is exactly what it was made to be, which is a Disney kids adventure show in the mold of Disney kids adventure shows, and it just happens to be Star Wars. And by that, I mean it is about a bumbling but good hearted young protagonist who is really only good at one thing, but they really excel when they get to do that one thing, assisted by their quirky friends and their long suffering adult mentor.
Right.
It's it's
It
a
was never
solid
meant to
series.
be, it was never meant to be the next big Star Wars epic. And by and large, most of the people who didn't like it
We
much
did with that.
were adults who went into a kids adventure show expecting the next big Star Wars epic.
Mm-hmm.
And the same kind of thing can be said about early Clone Wars.
Interesting.
I think this is part of like a major conversation that we should probably have like closer to the end of Clone Wars. Ahsoka Tano is a character that deserves a long conversation about her impact. She is the Clone Wars, for lack of a better discussion. Her existence is integral to it.
Yep, we
So,
will circle back, and after we
but
finish
the,
Clone Wars, we can do an Ahsoka retrospective episode.
Yeah, that makes sense.
but even this is like a good starting point, and the fact that you're even thinking about it this much, and that we're thinking about it this much, is the fact that like Ahsoka is literally the heart of the Clone Wars. Without her, this series would has no right to exist, in my opinion. But we can discuss that. And as you said, we're
Yep,
getting into some of
because
the some good
we
quality Ahsoka content.
yep, because we've gone down a rabbit hole. So let's
Mhm.
head into the next episode, Assassin, season 3, episode 7. Ahsoka Tano has visions of Padme Amidala being assassinated.
All right.
So
It's a day that ends in Y for Padme.
yes, so once again, Ahsoka is left behind as Anakin is sent on a mission, and she has a vision of Aura Singh stalking her.
Yes, yes. Interesting how both sets of episodes that we missed ended up dealing with Aura Singh.
That is
Yes.
weird.
We just completely skipped over her, I guess.
That could be a metaphor for the fact that Aura Singh only appeared in one scene, one split blink and you miss it scene in Phantom Menace, and then returns in the canon completely different from her Legends portrayal.
Mhm. But yes, we
Yep.
then get several scenes of Yoda wisdom, helping guide Ahsoka in her use of the Force, and counseling her to not take
We actually
visions
should
of the
acknowledge
future
that
as a
the
sin.
fact that the voice actor for Yoda in the Clone Wars has passed.
Yes, very recently. Moment of silence for Tom Kane.
This was these were some pretty neat scenes because we actually see somebody actually teaching Ahsoka for once. we don't really see Anakin really teaching her much.
Anakin teaches her plenty. Let's commit war crimes.
Yeah.
She learned. I learned it by watching you, Master.
So Ahsoka talks to Padme about it and ends up going along with her to Alderaan for an important conference.
And this is one of our first real big looks at Alderaan.
And Ahsoka's visions become increasingly detailed and specific about Aurra Sing attempting to assassinate Padme.
Yes. At one point, she actually wakes up while on the ship and runs over to Padme's room and brings out her lightsaber in the middle of the night, thinking that Aurra Sing is on board the ship at the time. It's a pretty intense moment.
Ooh, I just had a story idea that would probably work best in the Star Trek campaign. And I'm going to keep it to myself because you're both players in that.
Yes. Well, for now, I'd also like to note that Alderaan looks beautiful with its mountains as Ahsoka and Padme talk. And Padme gives Ahsoka advice about dealing with her visions and how important her work is in providing aid to those affected by the war.
Again, my personal feeling is we should have seen more Alderaan in the prequels in order to build up that moment when it is destroyed by the Death Star in Episode 4. Just so the fact we know what we lose.
Yeah, they have fleshed out Alderaan a bit here in some of the ancillary media since then, and it's just you do start to feel that loss a bit. There, if you're ever interested, there's an entire YA novel, Leia, Princess of Alderaan.
It's great.
Yeah, that you get a lot of information about Alderaan, and you even see it a little bit more in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Yeah, it's good. It has some flaws, but it's really good.
During Padme's speech that she's making at this conference, Ahsoka yanks Aurra Sing's sniper rifle with the Force, and the bolt just grazes Padme, and Aurra Sing escapes. And Ahsoka so then comes up with an idea for Padme to be safe, but still give her next speech at the conference. So, question. We saw in Attack of the Clones that even as a senator, Padme still has some of her decoy bodyguards.
Yeah.
Where the Criff are they during all of this?
They don't have the funding. They got to fund the war instead.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I guess that makes sense because the next time we do see her bodyguards is in the comics during the original trilogy. That's when we see
but we know from some of granted this information comes later. We know from some of the novels from some of the YA novels, E.K. Johnston did a whole trilogy of prequel era Padme books. So we know that they were still around. But anyway, that was just a question that occurred to me as I was watching this.
Mm-hmm.
So we see a hooded and cloaked Padme being led into the chamber. And after Ahsoka recognizes that Aurra isn't in the chamber, we see that it's a droid transmitting Padme's speech remotely.
Yeah.
And Aurra has figured this out too. And so she's in the right spot. She gets hit in on Ahsoka as Padme is rescued, and Padme stuns the bounty hunter.
Padme gun!
Yeah.
She does it. She does the Padme gun.
It's her famous move. It's aggressive negotiations.
For her
she learned it by watching Anakin too.
In any case, they take in Aurra Sing, and as they do so, Yoda and Anakin stand with her alongside Padme as they get her to actively look into a Force vision, where Ahsoka uses incredible concentration and gets some vague details on who the mastermind behind Aura's hiring was.
Yes, and it was Zero the Hutt
Mm-hmm.
that hired her to kill Padme.
Yep.
Everyone's favorite Hutt.
Yeah.
Totally. She's purple. Or they're purple. They don't have a gender, do they?
They're hermaphroditic.
Yeah.
So but they can identify. I think Zero identified as male.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's purple.
Yeah.
And is vaguely based on Truman Capote.
And that's the end of that episode, which sets up the later Zero the Hutt arc, which is kind of where we picked up when we skipped this batch of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is when we get to be reintroduced to Sly Snoodles, your favorite character.
Oh yeah, totally. The best character in Star Wars.
And finally, that takes us into the last episode in this bunch, ARC Troopers Season 3, Episode 2, Jumping Back. Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi hurry to defend Kamino. So the Separatists have found out where Kamino is, and they're going to attack.
Yep. And the clones are very protective of this place, as it's where they're created.
Yeah, they consider it home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it ties back to previous episodes, such as clone cadets and rookies.
And meanwhile, on the villain's side, Ventress returns after a long time.
She does.
She hadn't been around for quite a while.
Honestly, this made me realize, like, wow, Ventress isn't as prominent and front-long as a character in the series. She does not appear a lot in the early episodes.
Yeah, no, she's kind of presented as though she's going to be sort of a counterpart to Ahsoka, but that doesn't really manifest very much.
It's weird because he was made as a counterpoint to Anakin. Then in the comics, during the initial run before the Clone Wars, she was presented as like an Obi-Wan foil. Then brought back in to be just a general foil to the two of them, and then represented as Ahsoka's foil.
And the whole flirty thing with Obi-Wan, and then we start a redemption arc.
Her character
we start a redemption
kind of
arc that we don't get to see completed on screen.
If ever completed, we'll never know.
Well, we know that particular arc was completed because it was published as a book, and I've read it.
It's a good book.
You know what, y'all? You know what, y'all?
Huh?
Ventress should fight Cad Bane and Hondo Ohnaka. All three of them should fight. All three of them should fight over some bounty mission or something. Where they're all trying to get the treasure or whatever.
That'd be cool. Oh, you could put Boba Fett in it. That'd be cool too.
Maybe, yeah.
And you could explain.
Maybe that's how he gets it. Maybe that's how he gets his dent.
That's how we work in the Boba Fett and Cad Bane gunfight.
Yeah. But yeah,
trademark copyright.
It just so happens that Ventress and Hondo were also there at the time.
As the Separatist fleet starts to take damage, the debris falls near Tipoca City, which Obi-Wan discovers are pieces of underwater assault craft being reassembled.
And there's no cool bubble effect on the lightsaber.
No.
No.
The wonders of 2D animation.
Squid mix.
This is true. There are squid mix.
There are.
With trills.
They are part of the attack, which is heavy and brutal. One of the huge cloning chambers is destroyed.
This is actually the setting for the Clone Wars era map for Kamino in the Battlefront 2 2017 game. It's really cool. They recreated like perfectly.
And speaking of brutal, Ventress grabs a clone with the Force, pulls him onto her lightsaber blade to kill him, and gives him a kiss as he dies.
Oh, of course.
Remember, this is a kids show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Then we end up seeing a scene between Grievous and Ventress, where Grievous
is the incredibly awkward in my opinion.
Yes, Grievous is in command officially, but then he starts trying to like flirt with Ventress, sort of, and she is just not having any of this. This is some workplace harassment right here, and not even a dark side user deserves that.
And honestly, I don't see Grievous having those types of feelings for anything. Not because he's more of a seen than living being, but more just like it's just not his character.
I think it has to do with that sort of inferiority complex that I mentioned way back when. That Grievous is envious of Force users. He wants to be like Force users, and so I think that this is honestly more of a play at power over Ventress, a demonstration of his command over her. Triggered by his jealousy of her Force capabilities, rather
That's an
than like
interesting take on that.
That's a reasonable read, yeah.
rather than like a
That's
legitimate
better
interest
because
in
again,
her.
like I honestly, I just never liked that moment. Not, one because it's creepy, but it's also like it
Mhm.
just never fit with him. But like in that context, I can kind of see, especially if he knows about her doing similar flirtatious moments with Obi-Wan, his major rival.
Yes, perhaps so.
So that he could see that as a way of trying to one up Obi-Wan. But even without that, your assumption is like, yes, he's trying to assert power as the general of the droid army. Well, Ventress is clearly like closer to Dooku than him
And
as an actual
Ventress
force sensitive like apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
and Ventress goes off to steal some of the source DNA for the clones, and while she's doing that, Anakin confronts her. Obi-Wan faces off against Grievous in another case of nope, Anakin can't be in the same room with Grievous yet.
Also, the clones are fighting a bunch of droids at the same time as well.
Yes,
It's a triple battle.
yeah, the clones are fighting droids. The episode is titled for clones. It is on the clones' quote unquote homeworld. We have a few brief moments of the clones uh, having some slight character interactions and development, but it kind of is the same thing that you were talking about with Ahsoka, Lauren.
Yeah, I
In
guess so.
that, in that this is ostensibly their episode, but nothing that happens really involves them, or very
Like
little
there are
that
incredibly strong
happens.
moments. Like we haven't mentioned Clone 99, but
Yeah, we have a
This is
return in
true.
99.
He's in this
but
episode.
but the main factor is like if they wanted this to one this should have I felt this should have been like a two-parter in general. This is a major battle sequence that might have given more time for even distribution or more clone heavily distribution between the characters. But you're
I,
right. This is
I'm not sure there's enough story to justify 2 episodes.
it'd be a glorified 2 point battle sequence, but I just feel like to give more time to the clones to develop their characters, especially since some of them are going to be coming forward with us into the future episodes.
Like the aforementioned 99, who sadly is killed in the fighting.
And becomes a plot point character, like reference point for the rest of the series.
Now, Nick, I was thinking, I had a question that came to mind while I was watching this, and was the Bad Batch named Clone Force 99 after him, or was
Yes.
99 already a designation for quote unquote defective
No.
clones?
99 was a defective clone unfit for battle who died heroically. The Bad Bats was developed afterwards and took their name from their fallen comrade.
Okay, so this raises an even bigger question. Were they already being developed because they are adults? The Clone Wars only take 3 years.
Mhm.
Were they already being developed?
I think they were
Or
already being developed, and they took their Clone Force designation from him.
okay.
They were already being developed as specialized clone. They're basically science projects.
So could we then potentially assume that 99 was an early subject in trying to genetically modify the clones that results in the Bad Batch, but he was a quote unquote failure?
Yes.
Okay. So
Again, the idea,
it wasn't just
they
that he was an accidental
even
an
describe it.
accidental.
They do describe it in this episode. That's saying they are stretching thin the DNA, and in the previous episode, rookies, that they're running thin on variations on the DNA of Jango Fett sample, and they are trying to work with what they have, but they get unfortunate individuals like 99. The Clone Force 99 is a group that they modified using that same batch, but they were not perfect clone troopers. They were individually modified as sort of test subjects.
Okay.
So the
And
idea
then
is that 99 was a hero in the end and proved that even though he was a, for lack of a better term, reject, they are also rejects because they aren't perfect clones. That's why
okay,
they named themselves Clone
that's
Force
fair.
99.
That's fair. I mean, they they may have killed 99, but I firmly believe that 99 will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Oh yes, obviously.
Or at least someone played by D. Bradley Baker.
I mean, that wouldn't be out of the question, as much
It
voice
wouldn't
work
be.
as he does. But Echo and Fives are selected then to become ARC troopers as the episode ends.
Which is the title of the episode, and we all know how we know how Echo's story ends as of right now in our Clone Watch.
Yep. So we know we got that big reaction to Ahsoka on Mandalore, but overall, what about these 4 episodes as a whole, Lauren?
Well, let's see here. The first episode was fine. No particular reaction. We've thoroughly went over the second episode. The third episode, I enjoyed quite a bit. Like I said, it's an actual episode that focuses on Ahsoka. I enjoyed seeing her learn more about the Force and deal with Force visions and deal with an insecurity with understanding this new ability that she has, and it was great. That was awesome. And then
Also a relationship with Padme and Aura Singh is like turns from like a pretty generic villain from the previous arc into like a kind of like a slasher villain in this one.
And then the final episode is mostly just an action episode.
Which is again like I would have been fine with more action if it was giving more character to the clones. I can agree with what you said. There was like Obi-Wan and Anakin kind of stole the show away from when this would be a clone episode or arc when it's like they're defending their home and it like when we see like the squid ships attacking the cloning facility, that's like hundreds of thousands of lives that just were destroyed.
Yeah. Admittedly, I don't know if a more dedicated clone focus would have mattered much to me personally, because I'm just not really that into the clones.
And that's fine. That's
I'll
just
probably
my
go more
personal
into
opinion.
the why of that later, probably at like the end of the series or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was neat. There was action. Grievous was
And
there. That was cool.
oh yeah, Ventress. Grievous got to do some stuff.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I do like how you recontextualize a scene that I always felt like always rubbed me the wrong way. Like your interpretation makes it seem like more in character for Grievous, and honestly, I think I like your characterization of Grievous more than even how I've ever characterized him.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm interpreting the series.
I mean, it's like Grievous is been interpreted many ways, and so like yours is definitely much more refreshing, much more interesting, and honestly, it took a scene that I felt like always whenever I watched it, sort of gave me the ick or the cringe.
Mm-hmm.
It was like seeing it from that perspective. That gives a bit more depth to his character, which is honestly kind of shallow.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know how much I love Grievous. He's my boy.
Yep. Yep.
And for me, for the most part, these episodes are just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't awful. They aren't great.
Mm-hmm.
But in the grand
that's
scheme,
par for the course for early-ish Clone Wars.
And in the grand scheme, they are building blocks to like honestly, like I feel like we could even have like entire like whole episodes after we finish Clone Wars, just about like how we feel out. Like I feel like early Clone Wars was setting up a lot of different blocks that would eventually become later Clone Wars, and these are just like
maybe
it's you can see where all the building blocks are coming together.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like during those early things, like yeah, it's a disjointed mess, and honestly, I feel like I hope that by the end of this, I can finally be justified in saying why we did it in chronological order.
All right.
Because you hate peace. Because you're a sadist. Because you're a bad man.
I mean, I already know that. You don't have to tell me twice.
So, any other closing thoughts from either of you on this?
I don't think so. I think those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
I think after this, we'll get into the quote unquote final season, the lost episodes.
Quote unquote, doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Yeah. It was for a while. It was for a while.
Yeah, that's true. It's still doing a lot of heavy lifting now. And but after this, we have at least 2 episodes coming up where we're taking a break from Clone Watch.
Yeah.
Our next episode will be covering the new Supergirl movie.
Mm-hmm. Looking forward to
and
that.
then the episode after that, we are going to have some very special guests who are friends of ours from the Movie Defenders podcast join us to discuss Evil Dead Burn. And so
you can hold my hand just to be safe, Daryl.
You at least, if I'm going to hold your hand, Nick, you at least got to buy me dinner first.
And one of these days, I'm going to talk about Kirby for 8 hours straight.
But
he can, and it's actually kind of fascinating. But you'll be surprised when he talks about Meta Knight. I still have not recovered from that.
You have not. I know.
So we just want to thank everyone for joining us for Casual Nerdity. If you're enjoying the show, there's a few ways that you can support us. You can leave a hopefully good review on your podcast platform of choice, which helps more listeners find us. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. Those algorithms do need their fuel.
Oh, there's this new thing called Hype. I'm not sure how it works, but maybe we have that.
I don't know. You can also support the show. You can also support the show directly by grabbing a t-shirt from our merch store at store.casualnerdity.com.
We have special ones for the month of Pride.
Well, we have a special one. We have a Fandoms Are For Everyone shirt. I love it. I like it. You can and of course, come hang out with us on social media. We're Casual Nerdity, all one word, on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it today. And we are casualnerdity.com on Blue Sky. So until next time, may your lightsaber duels be dramatic and well animated. Thanks again for joining us. So long.
Bye-bye.
This has been Casual Nerdity. We hope you've enjoyed your time with us and look forward to having you back.